Welcome to the AI-powered marketing show, where every day we investigate and explore the intersection of artificial intelligence with cutting-edge modern digital marketing strategies. I'm your host, Keith Bell, and if you are a digital marketer, entrepreneur, small business owner, coach, consultant, or just an AI nerd like myself, you are in the right place. Today, we're diving into the world of email deliverability with a true expert, Nicholas Topper. As the co-founder and CEO of Inbox Booster, Nicholas has over 20 years of experience and a track record of delivering over 50 billion emails. His company helps businesses ensure their emails land in inboxes, not spam folders. If you're ready to learn how to improve your email open rates and keep your campaign in front of your audience, stay tuned. We're about to unlock some serious insights.
Welcome to the digital marketing revolution. This is the AI-powered marketing show, where the future of marketing is not just imagined, it's already here. Are you an entrepreneur, a digital marketer, or a tech enthusiast? Then you're in the right place. Every day, we explore the cutting-edge tools that help you manifest and monetize your expertise through the power of funnel hubs supercharged with artificial intelligence. Unlock the secrets of turning your expertise into a digital powerhouse. From actionable insights to transformative strategies, we've got you covered. Now, let's dive into the world where AI meets marketing, where ideas meet execution, and where you meet success. Your journey to marketing mastery starts here. Here's your host, Keith Bell, bringing the future of marketing to you today. Fasais?
Hey, everybody, join me in welcoming to the show Nicholas Topper. Nicholas, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So every guest that I interview, I usually ask a question, if you remember on the Calendly page, and it had something to do with, what impact has AI had on your business, or, what experience have you had with AI? And I thought your answer was the best I've gotten so far. And you said spam filters are the OG of marketing AI. And I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on what you meant by that.
So AI right now so there's different answers that like technical and businessy one. Basically, spam filter's job is to figure out what's dangerous for you, remove the dangerous emails like phishing attempt, scam, and all that, and try to understand what type of email you want to receive on top of that. So they are, from that point, that's exactly what an AI filter is going to try to do for you. And it's already built in AI. It's the same technology behind, in the sense that they're trying to those people, there are people like bad actors who are trying all the time to kind of outplay the system. So the way they have to do it is to build a system that learns from the attack and evolves from it all the time. So you have that type of system, and it used to be built on people's kind of feedback. So, for instance, if everybody's marking an email as spam, then they will know it's a spam, but they're learning from that kind of data set. So they already have all the users labeling the data manually. They already have a crude system from that, and they're learning from that. So there is already all those elements in play. And right now, my business at Inbox Booster is really to understand what the spam filter wants so you can comply. And because it's an AI, it's actually hard to kind of decipher.
Cool. So you've had a pretty impressive journey in the tech world. You've co-founded a couple successful startups. How did you find your way into email deliverability?
So it's not glamorous nor glorious or anything. It's totally random. I actually I had to work after high school, and in France, where I'm from, you can go to night classes and you can get an engineer's degree, which I did. And my professor there was actually the one who built AOL spam filter, which was a big an internet provider at that time. And at work, they had a problem at that for their business. So I was able to kind of look really, really good to my boss because I asked him and he explained me, and I was like, yeah, this is how it's working. And trust me, I know I have connections. So then I got kind of promoted like head of deliverability of kind of a multi-European company. But I don't know anything, and that's kind of how I got started. So it's totally random. It's because I was at the right place at the right time.
So, in preparing for this interview, I use a tool called Perplexity AI. You familiar with Perplexity?
Of course, it's a good tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I asked it was, is email marketing still profitable? Because there's a lot of people that are under the misguided impression that email marketing is dead. And one of the things that I found out is for every dollar that you spend on email marketing in 2024, you get $36 back, or 3,600% ROI. So I would imagine that you would agree with the concept that email marketing is not dead.
No, and so obviously I disagree with that for a lot of reasons. But if you think like deep down about it, email marketing is not as important as it used to be, but it's kind of at its right place right now. In the sense that if you look at your physical mailbox, what do you have? You have junk mail. You have important invoices from the government, from service providers, and all that. And your actual mailbox, like on Gmail or wherever, is like that now. And before it was cluttered with lots of notifications, lots of things that didn't have to be. Now it's kind of the center of your digital life, but more like your administrative life or other. So it's important, but it's not. It's critical for you. But at the same time, it's not something you're going to not to check every day, kind of like a physical mailbox. You're going to go there once per day. You're not going to give it to check it out every 5 minutes. In that reasoning, you can send junk mail to people, and some people will buy from that. I did, and from marketing email, that's working. And now the reason email marketing is still important is if you're an e-commerce shop, for instance, it's the only way you can reconnect with your customers. If you're a SaaS software, it's the only way you can connect with your users in an asynchronous way. That's also non-intrusive. And that's kind of the big difference. Email used to be intrusive because, and there still have people that are kind of who have their smartphone like merged with them, so they merge with their mailbox, kind of. But for most people, there's something they're going to check once per day, once every couple of days. That doesn't mean it's dead. It just means it's different. And in a way, it's a little healthier. And it makes sense. Now, when you send an email to those people, they're going to read it asynchronously. So sometimes you send a promotion for your business. It can work or not, but you just, if you're careful, it will work. And it's not going to die because it's the only way we can do it. Plus, it's also very cheap compared to Google Ads and all that. And that's because email is kind of free. It's an open source network. Anybody can join. Anybody can leave. It's not like Google, where it's kind of it's a monopoly now, or Facebook, which is also a monopoly, or any other apps that you can think about. Now so this is why it's important, and it's something you want to take advantage of. And as if you're an e-commerce shop, for instance, return customer is how you actually make money. It's not necessarily how you make revenue, but that's where your profits are. So email marketing being the only way on how you can reach out to those people, then it's kind of automatically critical and instrumental. And the epitome example is Klaviyo. That's companies really just doing email marketing for Shopify shops, and basically, and they're good at it, and they IPO'd this year, I think.
Yeah. So one of the things I've learned in my journey here is that your email list is almost like a tangible asset. Like, companies, there have been major corporate deals where the company was bought, just like I look back at Facebook when they bought Instagram, and they bought it because of the subscriber list. So it's a great form of free traffic. You want to send an email out, you can blast it out to 20,000 people on your email list.
So for Instagram, it's actually it's funny because I actually had the discussion with my wife at lunch, but it's a bit different. It's they were growing and they had a lot of installed, but the mailing list they didn't really care. But for an e-commerce shop, yeah, you can do that. The thing is, you have to be careful because, and that's where spam filter comes in. If you actually buy a company just for the mailing list, you need to be very careful about what kind of authorization or kind of moral contract you have with the subscribers. You don't want to harass them. You don't want to to hear about them all the time. They don't want to hear about you all the time, but you still have the right to email them, and they're actually happy if you do that in a respectful way. So how do you do that? This is kind of now where the work is. I'll give you a junk mail example, like an actual physical mail. Uh, I've moved to the US 2 years ago, and I'm receiving I think, every month this American email from Capital One. I think that everybody's receiving.
Yep.
And now I'm not opening them. I'm just putting them directly into trash. And maybe there is like literally a check in it. I'll never know because I'm not opening them, because they send me an actual mail every month about it, and I don't care. So uh, and
Yeah.
I
Capital One. Did you get the one that says you're pre-authorized
yeah,
for auto and auto? Yeah, I get
yeah.
those like every month or a couple times a month, and it's somewhat annoying. And I often wonder, why do you spend the money to send a physical letter out when you could probably send an email out? You know?
Uh, but that's because it's probably profitable for them, and they probably run the test. But as an email marketer, if you do that, you're going to be caught by spam filters, because basically that actual physical mail annoys everyone. So this will never work. But as if you're actually emailing like for promotion, or Chewy, for instance, in the e-commerce space for pets, I have a dog, and that they're doing a good job. When I don't, or when they notice that I don't order, they give me promotion. So they send me like a check in my mailbox. So I'm happy to actually read their email, because I actually need to order food for my dog. So that's how I do it. So that's where they're actually very careful about that. That would be an example. So you need to be, so basically, if you want to do email marketing right, you need to not annoy people. In other words, the recipients, your subscribers, you need to be careful, which kind of as a small business is usually easy to do, because you're usually very respectful of your subscribers. But as a bigger business, as a large business, it's harder, because there's a lot of like communication layer silo, and people don't really know who they're talking to and who their customers are.
Right. Right. Yeah. Um, Email deliverability is kind of a really a niche area. What are some of the challenges you've seen that you've encountered as you've built your business?
In what sense? In a market size direction, or how to build it properly, or
From a technical perspective, from a market perspective, because one of the things I did find is that it's a pretty competitive
yeah,
marketplace.
yeah, I was going to mention that. So it is a competitive marketplace, but most people, or most of our competitions, are actually trying to cheat the spam filters. So they're trying to kind of find ways to hack around it and all that. And where my school of thought is, if those things are here, there is a reason. So it's usually easier to comply than to actually try to go around them. And also, it's kind of a losing battle, because at Google, they're more than you, they're smarter than you. So thinking that you'll outsmart them, it's not necessarily a good place to be. And why? Because that's also the other question, is why. So it's easier to comply, and that's the problem. Is there is no easy way to comply, because they don't really explain what they want you to do. So that's our business, and we're the only one with that niche. But we think it's kind of a growing niche, because it kind of just makes sense, you know. In my why would you so you have people, they're used to basically spamming, and they keep having problems with spam filters. So there is a business, because for this is a cottage industry, where you're telling them, oh yeah, you can cheat that way, or just be a little bit careful here and there. Or you can just explain, look, you're in spam for this and that reason, you just need to change, and that's fine. And so and that actually works. That works, and because we're the only one with that actual positioning, that's actually working. So it's actually fairly simple to get business, to be clear. Because of that. And the other thing is, because also we're in that idea of compliance, but not like actual technical compliance. Like, this is what the spam filter wants. This is not necessarily what the law requires, and all that is something else. This is really what they want you to do, and you're in spam because too many people don't want to receive your email. Here is how you figure it out, or it's because of that word. So then we actually built actual text. We're the only ones who have it, so that's also make it easier. So it is, and we made it free. So because of that, we're also one of the only one that actually give results for free, and 90% of our users never pay, and we're happy like that. So what we tell you is, if you go on Inbox Booster, you can test your email. We'll tell you on Outlook and Gmail if you're in spam, but we'll also tell you why you're in spam or in promotion if you are. So you know if it's because of a DNS, like a plumbing issue or technical settings, or if it's because you used a word that are triggering that in your email, or if it's because your past behavior created that problem. And that's actually instrumental into understanding what they want, because if it's a wording issue, this is really usually not linked to you. Sometimes it is, but most of the time it has nothing to do with you. If it's a plumbing issue like a DNS technical setting, then you fix it. And if it's a reputation issue, which is really your past behavior, then you kind of have to start thinking about what did I do wrong, and what do they want. And then and until you actually figure it out, then you can know if then you can actually comply or not, but at least you have the option. And I think so far we're really the only one with that perspective. Some ESPs, so people like Mailchimp or a lot, will have something a little bit similar, but it's not really their job, so they'll do that in support, and they'll help a little bit, but it's not the same thing as a tool that really do that. So far, it hasn't been a problem to find business or anything, because it's kind of a very new way to look. It sounds obvious, but it's kind of a new way, at least in that tooling space, to look at all those things, to look at these problems.
So, um, Inboxster, Inbox Booster uses AI to improve email deliverability. Can you talk a little bit about like how your products boost deliverability?
So as I explained, we try. So the problem is you have an AI in front of you, which is really, for instance, Gmail, and they're going to make decision as to it has made a decision as to why your email is in spam. So actually, you need to understand. So AI decisions are really probabilistic based. So you need to turn that into something deterministic, which is really you need to understand yes, no question, like, am I in spam because of my DNS problem, also technical plumbing? Am I in spam for something that is linked to my problem, or it's a false positive, it has nothing to do with me? Or am I in spam for different reasons? And that's kind of how we tell you. And once you have actually the key to the problem, then you can actually address them, and we tell you what to do to fix that. So in other words, what I'm really trying to do, and what we're trying to do here at this business, is to tell you what they want and why you have if you have a problem, first of all, because it's not that easy to know. And if you have a problem, what do they want you to do to fix the problem? What does Google want you to do to comply? And it's really about that. And it's not what do they write in their technical documentation or anything, because the AI in front of them are changing all the time. So it's really what kind of what they see as a problem as of now, and what did you do that they don't like. And that's kind of
Right.
what we're figuring out. And then we tell you that you fix a problem, and then you're good, and then you don't need to pay us after that.
So, yeah, a little while ago, you mentioned that some of the other competitors in your industry try to they try to almost game the system. What are some of the ways that they try to game the system? I know a couple myself.
So one of them is warm up. It's the biggest one. I think you've heard about that. So they're injecting fake traffic. So they're injecting fake traffic on mailboxes. So they see that you're not sending. So they think that your email is actually good, because they'll send an email and they'll have actually both opening the email and reading it for you. So this can game a Gmail spam filter. Well, not really, but they think it can. Another way is to so this is another way, which is to use to send on what they call inactive users, because the spam filters used to look at the ratio of spam complaint. So what they did is they changed it to active users, so there is no such problem. So another way is to kind of rotate IPs. So there are like lots of ways on how to do it, but it's really about it's kind of all about impersonating something you're not supposed to do. And what's kind of interesting, the problem here is because those rules are so complex, even if you're a legit senders and you don't want to do that, you will get caught at some point in your sender lives into that. So you need to that's where we're needed, and As a SaaS business, it's a terrible business. As a more like a car mechanic or a plumber type of business, it's a good business because people call us when they have a problem, and everybody will have a problem.
No, yeah, without a doubt. One of the ways, I guess about 2 or 3 years ago, I did a cold email
Oh yeah.
campaign with a company. I'm not going to mention them by name. That one of the things they did is you created 3 different variations of your domain,
Mhm.
because one of the things, and I want my audience to understand here, is that if you violate the core concepts of the spam filter in the company, you run the risk of having your domain, I guess, blacklisted or
Burnt. Yeah.
burned. Yeah. And so what this company would do is you would create 3 different domains that were very similar to yours, but just slightly different. And then if one got burned, you went to the next one. If that one got burned, you went to the next one.
And to go back to your, so sorry to interrupt, but to go back to your idea about the question about AI and what we do. So the cousin domain, this is how they call it now. This starts to be detected by Gmail and Outlook, so they do understand that, and they link it to the same domain. And also, it's not so they kind of tune the settings, so it's going to be detected. But on top of that, my guess is it's AI who actually kind of understood those correlations and understood that they should be done. And cold email for B2C businesses usually perform abysmally, and this is not something people like.
So um, one of the things I read is you have a data set of over 1 million emails.
So yeah, because I used to have an ESP before, so we've looked at a lot of email being it's because an email provider is going to send over 1 million email per month, like normal email providers like the companies like SendGrid or Mailchimp, they're going to send maybe under 1 billion email per month. They're not necessarily big senders, I would say. Uh, and and so getting a data set of 1 million is not very hard. It's really it's quite simple. And what you do is we've kind of learned how the spam filter works, but we're also querying it all the time. So we've tested that, and we've seen and we've also put a lot of so we have access to some boxes that helps us look at how things are performing and all that. That's kind of how we understand what they do. And again, we're not against them. We're just trying to fix what they do.
Yeah, you're not trying to. It's not like a war where you're trying to get by them, or you're just trying to comply and do it in an ethical and legal way.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, how does this database, how does it help improve Inbox Booster's AI, or
Uh,
does it help?
so it does. No, it does. It helped us build it, and it helped us see if we're compliant, if our thing still works, which is really the issue. But that's kind of it, basically.
Okay.
But also, we see some patterns because we can track those emails. So we see some patterns emerging and all that. But that's it. It's not. The more we move forward, the less we use it actually, and it's more because the more we use forward, there's like more of a technical problem here, and then almost a theoretical problem. But AI is very probabilistic, and what we're doing is we're trying to turn it into something. To assess it and understand it, we're turning it into something deterministic, meaning like yes no question, so human being can do something about it. Because in a way, if you're in spam if you have 10% chances of your email to be in spam, it's not very actionable. So if you want, it's not at all actionable, because it means something from a mathematical point of view. For an AI it means something, but for a normal human being it doesn't mean anything. But so the only thing you need care about is, can I do something about it? And this is more so the more we're moving forward, the more we're leaning into, okay, we don't really care about how spam filter works. I mean, we do care, but we care in the sense that is it actionable or not, i.e. should someone do something about it? Because if you look at the spam filter, there is an element of nowadays they have a personal element to it, so they learn what you want to receive, which is why also testing through the inbox booster is important, because we're removing that layer. But the fact that, as for instance, say you're an e-commerce web shop and you all of your mail are landing in spam for that specific subscriber, that's kind of a good thing because I know that the subscriber will never want to receive that email anyway because the spam filter learned that they never buy from this type of email. This is individual. This is not at the whole spam filter level. It's not something you should do. Something you shouldn't do anything about it. And even if you could do something about it, you don't want to do it because that's kind of what they said they want. If that makes sense. So the question from an AI point of view becomes: Are you? Is we're turning it from how do they work in a kind of a very detailed way to what should I do about it? And this is a lot more deterministic. And the key concept is more: Is this actionable? Like, should I do something about it? And
What
if yes, what?
so with that in mind, like what are some, like you said, pattern recognition? What are like some of the reasons that a person's email will hit a spam filter?
So in our things, we have three layers. In our inbox booster, we have really three tests. And there are a lot more behind the scenes, but that's kind of how we aggregate them. The first one is plumbing issue or DNS issue, like is your email correctly configured? It's not the time all the case. Sorry, it's not all the time all the case. It's not the case all the time, and a lot of providers like ESP, like Mailchimp, and others will have documentation that are not very accurate here. So sometimes they're making mistakes. So this is what we check first. Second question is, so that's the first layer of problems. It's really like plumbing issue. Are you using what you're supposed to be doing? This is free. We can use it free. You can test it on Inbox Booster. It's free. We'll never charge for that. Second layer, do you have a reputation problem? In other words, has the spam filter detecting the email from something that they can link to you, like a domain or an IP, has been caught by sending spam or email that their recipients didn't like? If yes, then they'll put by default everything back to spam. That's the second layer of problem, so your past behavior. And the third layer is, do you have in the current email you're trying to send a problem that triggers spam filter? I'll give you one example. We had a user on the free tour this morning. He sent me a support request because his email was hitting spam, but that's because he did a copy paste from a Microsoft email and he was sending it to Microsoft. So Microsoft knew this was not legit as a content, so it put the content in spam because it was one of them. And this user would never pay because it was just a test content. So now he had to use a real one. So that's kind of an example of something that you'll see. So we're able to pinpoint the words to change or even the HTML to change in your email. But in a lot of cases, you don't need it. You can just tune it differently.
Now I was reading your AI can simulate spam filters like Gmail and Outlook. Is that true?
No, we don't. I don't know where you should that because that's not at all what we do. There are competitions we're trying to do that. We're actually asking the spam filter all the time. So when you'll see a test or anything, we have actually some test addresses, and we are going to. We're going to. What we do is we understand how they tune their email address and their filters, so we can remove the personalization layer. But we're actually testing all the time with the spam filter, so we have kind of a real-time the connection to the spam filter to understand what they're doing. And
So you're
why and what.
So you're getting that feedback on like a daily basis then?
Oh yeah, when you do a test, you'll have that feedback. So if you're testing on Inbox Booster, it will tell you if your email is in spam or not on the normal addresses. And if you're in spam, it will tell you why. But this results is not done through simulation or prediction. It's actually done through actually testing on the spam filter. So we're querying the spam filter and we've turned your email into a series of yes/no questions. So we can draw that into something actionable for you, like what do you need to do, and if you need to do something about it.
Now, my understanding is your software has step-by-step guidance on how to improve deliverability. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the first question that's so it's the same idea is first question is, are you in spam? So you can because you might not be, or you might think you are but you're not, or you might not think you are but you are. So you test that, and then we're going to execute a series of steps to understand what is the problem. So we're diagnosing the issue first, like are you in spam because you have a reputation problem, or if it's because of a wording issue. Often also what we see is one problem hides others. So when you have a problem, you fix it and then you need to wait for the second one and to pop up, and then at some point it stops. So the way we do it is we have a tool that will give you like some guidance about how to, okay, for instance, say it's a wording issue. So we'll tell you, hey, you need to change that word, then wait 48 hours and retest. And at any point in time, you can talk to us and we'll actually help you figure out if there is a problem or if the tool doesn't work. So we can help you and tell you what to do to fix the problem. But we're here to help. We cannot really do the work in most cases. Even if something as simple as changing a word, we can't really do it for you because it's your job.
Right.
And we'll have access also to your setups.
Right. So, so basically, what, if I understand you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, your software helps people improve their deliverability rates by looking at the factors that get them into the spam filter. You don't necessarily send out emails. Like, you're not
No, we're not. We're really diagnosing problem and fixing problem. We don't really know why you're in spam. I mean, we know why you're in spam, but we don't really see all of your email and all that exactly.
So how does it work? That, like, does I use Get Response.
Huh?
Does your product like kind of interact with my Get Response account?
I'll give you. I'll give you a demo. So can I share my screen or?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that here.
Oh yeah, because there is a screen share button. Let's see.
Yeah, if you can do screen share.
Yeah, I can do it. So you go here. You go here. So you see you have 3 addresses. So you send your email here. You click show my. You copy paste these addresses. You send a test email through Get Response, and then you click on show my test results, and I'll show you, for instance, the example I've shown you this morning. So test all public, all free tests like that are public. If you want them to not be public, you need to create a test account, which is free also, but most people don't. That's why. And it's in our ATI. So for instance, this email is in spam on Gmail, on Outlook, sorry. It's in the inbox on Gmail. And the reason here is because the email content has a problem. So if they click here, then they will be able, then they will tell you, okay, then we'll launch our tool and they'll be redirected to something where they could pay an upgrade because we need to run the content analysis. And it's the example where the content was a test content, so they didn't care. Right? So that means that is actually working. That's an example. And you've seen all the steps that we've seen, like blacklisting, DNS check, and all that. Another example would be, for instance, let's see. So that was actually that was actually the same user. Again, he fixed his problem himself, and he didn't talk to us too much. This is a free example. So he was in spam on Outlook, but this was because he had a DNS problem at that time. His DMARC, which is a plumbing issue that we've detected here, told him there was a problem, despite everything working. So he fixed it. Now he has, and it seems to work.
So he's got no problem with his email now. So it's not a tool that I necessarily integrate with my Get Response account, but I can put.
Yeah.
Are you putting subject lines in there, or are you putting the whole email in there?
No, you just so you go here. You go here. So you just copy paste those addresses. Okay. For instance, so and then so you go here, for instance. You create those addresses. So you create test. You send it. Okay. Then you go here and you click on show my test results that you'll see here. And then you wait and you'll have the answer.
Oh, nice.
So basically on your Get Response account, you have a way to send test email. So you put those 3 addresses as a test email, and it will tell you where you're in spam and if you're in spam.
Hey, digital marketers, entrepreneurs, and tech enthusiasts. Ready to elevate your AI game? Check out the AI-powered marketer newsletter from Keith Bell, host of the AI-powered marketing show. The AI-powered marketer newsletter is your go-to resource, packed with actionable insights, cutting-edge tools, and the latest news in AI and digital marketing. Whether you're optimizing sales funnels, exploring new AI strategies, or staying ahead of industry trends, this newsletter has you covered. Don't miss out on the chance to supercharge your marketing efforts. Subscribe now. Just click the link in the show notes to sign up today, and remember, the future of marketing is here and it's powered by AI. See you in the newsletter.
So it identifies the specific reasons
Yeah.
why you're hitting a spam filter, and then you can go back and resolve them.
Yep. And either you can do it yourself if it's easy, or you need to pay us to do it. If you or depending also how you want to do it.
Right. I guess depending on the volume, and if you're putting out like a million emails, that might be something I want to hire a professional like you to do. Your AI, like any other AI, is learning all the time. Um, how do you guys, in terms of innovation, how are you staying ahead of the curve in terms of avoiding the spam box? Like, what are some things that you're doing?
But first of all, we're not doing too. We really want. But the same idea is we really want you to comply. And what we've seen is for most email marketers, when they comply and they understand the rules, then they don't need us. So, which is why we moved from a SaaS business to really like a couple of months of service and you're done. Because there is no need to. There is no need for that. It's kind of the thing is we're not trying to track exactly what they care about. We're just tracking do you comply, yes or no, and if you have a problem, come back and we'll tell you why. But most of the time, once it's more, it's just stuff that they don't know where the problem is coming. It's the main problem we're finding is people don't know where the problem is coming from. Once we're able to
Right.
explain it to them, then they don't still know how to resolve. So we tell that. But after that, they're autonomous because they've understood the reasons. And usually it's good reasons. It's like, oh, I've emailed people who really didn't care or haven't bought from me for 10 years.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the problem. I shouldn't email them. So that's an example. Or if you do, you need to be very careful not to email them every week.
So I guess what you're saying, that I tell a lot of people this, is you have to clean your email list. And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it goes. But if you think, so sorry to interrupt, but if it's simpler than that. Is you just need to kind of put a little bit of effort into it, in the sense that be respectful of your subscribers. If they haven't bought anything from you for 10 years or 5 years or whichever, if you're emailing them every week, this is disrespectful if you kind of think about it.
right, you might
But
want to do you might want to do like a re-engagement
yeah,
campaign or something
that,
like that at that point, not just blast them out, your latest offer.
and
Um,
and you want to probably mail them like a discount because you're like, oh yeah, I noticed you haven't been on our site for a couple of times. We really value our business, so here is a $10 discount. It's an example of not wasting people's time, if that makes sense, not other people's time. So, and the thing is, with all those digital tools, it's very easy to be unempathetic, to kind of be very dismissive of a lot. That's what you see online, like on Reddit and all that, where people kind of are very aggressive to each other for no reason, actually. And because it's easy to be like that. And as a digital marketer, it's also easy to be like, so just need to be careful. But like, hey, would I actually if I actually were the one doing a phone call, would I actually call that person that never bought from me for 10 years to blast out my last offer? No, probably not. I would, I did door to door sales. I would actually be more respectful in that sense. I wouldn't go there every week just because I don't want to waste my time, but also because that person will not react kindly to that after a couple of messages, e.g., a capital one to go to circle back on that example. So just be a little bit more, show a little bit more empathy to that, and that's enough. So cleaning your list is part of that. But if you're just yeah, again, empathetic towards your subscribers, usually it's enough. That's why it's easier to do it for smaller businesses because they know their customers. Another example is I have a restaurant. I've eaten at a couple of times. They're emailing me every week. I'm not going to go eat there every week, and I'm not a big fan. I mean, I like them, but I'm not a huge fan of them to receive news from them every week. So that's something I don't want to do now. If they had sent, so I subscribe here and I put them in spam. But if they had sent me an email every month or every 3 months, I would probably actually read it. But that's just kind of common sense. Like you are a restaurant, why would you email your patrons weekly? Like they're not going to go there every day.
yeah, yeah, I've talked to some affiliate marketers, and it blows my mind. There's one guy I know that it emails somebody 3 times a day,
Yeah,
and I can see, like, those the people that usually do that to me, I unsubscribe to, because after like the second or third one. And this guy's doing it intentionally because he wants to get them off his list. He wants to get to his best prospects. That's kind of a marketing strategy. But are there any of the email service providers that are more difficult to deal with in terms of their spam filter than like others? Like,
Right now, email is in the US. It's a monopoly, and it's just Gmail. So if basically, unless if you're B2C, Gmail matters. If you're B2B, Outlook will matter also. But really, and we have a free tool on our site for logged-in users that allows you to upload your list and tell you where you're emailing. So we're going to resolve the domain, and we'll say, oh, you're sending that many email to Google, that many email to Outlook, and what you'll see is really you'll have one domain that's 80% of your value. So just check that one. So for instance, if you're a B2C marketer, usually it's Gmail, and you should just care about it, and the rest don't even look at it.
yeah, if I've had probably the one that I've had the most problems with is Gmail in terms of their spam filters picking stuff up. I've had a couple issues with Outlook, with Microsoft Outlook. You said it's a monopoly, and that kind of made me think. Did you see the recent news about Google and they lost their
Oh yeah,
antitrust?
yeah. Yeah, but they've been a monopoly for a long time now. So it's not just in search, like that's kind of how tech works. This is how executives are trained. Is like, okay, if we build a monopoly, we can make a lot of money. And this kind of started with AT&T. So it's not.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little older than you, but when I can remember back, I guess early '90s, maybe. That's when they went after Microsoft, and before that it was Bell Atlantic
Yeah, I was
and
going to mention Bell.
the telecom. So that's it's interesting. I just did an episode on Google and their antitrust case. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out and how they resolve that issue. So
And if you look at groceries, like daily shopping, at some point it used to be Kmart. Now it's then it used to be Walmart. Now it's Amazon. Probably in 10 years it's going to be something else. I don't know what,
mhm.
but it's going to be something else. And so there is this cycle where companies in that space are not able to move to the next cycle. So you see that companies are actually evolving, and uh, Google, Microsoft, if you think about it, still one of the biggest companies around. I mean, GitHub is owned by Microsoft, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. So they just don't really put out their brand as much, but they're actually as powerful as they used to be. They're just a little bit more humble about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, when you get spanked by the U.S. Department of Justice, you have a tendency to be a little bit more humble, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Google's taking the approach that they're the superior product, and that's why everybody else, can't compete with them because they're superior. Um, so
Yeah,
it's
but
interesting.
I've read I've actually read which are the biggest lobbyists of the for the U.S. Congress, and
Mhm.
it's basically pharmaceutical companies, so healthcare industry plus tech. So that kind of
Right. So usually I'd like to leave the last segment here for you to talk specifically about your company, how people can find you if they want to get in contact with you. If you could just explain that, that would be great.
Of course. So go on inboxbooster.com, and you can test your email for free. You can get in touch with me and book a meeting directly. But also, if there is one thing of all this conversation that you need to remember, is really you should test your email. So you can use Inbox Booster; it's free. But when you send an email marketing, you want to test it ahead before sending it out to everyone. And for that, Inbox Booster is free and it's a good fit, and you'll actually get results and actually actionable data on what to do if there is a problem. So that's kind of what you really want to do for any email marketing, because it's kind of things that are going to worsen after time. So it's just a kind of a habit, kind of like when you're sending an email, you're sending it to yourself to see how it's looking. You want to also test it on Inbox Booster to check to make sure that it's actually ending up in inbox.
Right. And aren't a lot of the like I know when I was using um, G or Mailchimp, it would tell me before I sent something out that this was 60% likely to hit the spam filters or 70%. I always recommend testing your emails before you send them out. I think that's excellent advice. So well, I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm even more interested now in ramping up my email marketing efforts. But when I do it, I'm going to do it checking my spam if it's going to hit the spam box first. So, and I'll probably use your software. So, Nicholas, you were a great guest. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to have you there.
Thank you for tuning in to the AI Powered Marketing Show, hosted by yours truly, Keith Bell. We hope you found today's episode insightful and full of actionable tips to power up your marketing strategies with AI. Don't forget to visit the website at funnellosophy.com. There you'll find links to our podcast website as well as a subscription link to the AI Powered Marketer newsletter. Here on our newsletter, you can stay ahead of the curve with the latest trends, tools, and tips delivered straight to your inbox. We'd love to connect with you on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Join our community of like-minded marketers. Come on by and say hello. Get behind the scenes content, join the conversation, and never miss an update. Until next time, keep innovating, keep iterating, and stay ahead of the curve with the power of AI in your digital marketing efforts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the AI Powered Marketing Show. Take care.